What's going on, folks? I'm going to show you how you would be changing out your brakes on a motorcycle. Folks, this happens to be a Honda 2001, a CBR 929 pretty much, and we're going to be changing the brake pads on this bike. It's probably the same for multiple different bikes. It may have different hardware, different screws and all that, but the same process will probably be about the same. Well, this happens to be the front wheel on a motorcycle, and pretty much just like on your vehicle, you'll have a rotor, which is right here, as well as a caliper, which is right here. But on your front wheel of a motorcycle, you'll have two rotors and two calipers that you'll have to actually work on. So you'll have one rotor on this side, and there'll be another rotor on the other side, exactly like this. I mean, another caliper. And also you'll have one rotor right here, and on the other side of your wheel, if you can see through there, you'll have another rotor over there, exactly like this. So when you're changing your front brakes on a motorcycle, you're actually going to have to put on 4 pads. You'll have 2 pads that's going to go inside of this caliper, and then you'll do the exact same thing on the other side, putting 2 pads inside that caliper also, and that's how you would change it. The first thing you're going to want to do is to remove this caliper. It's pretty much just like removing a caliper on a car. You'll have like these screws right here that you'll want to take off. On this bike, it actually takes a size 12 to remove those screws. So we took out 1, and we took out 2. And see, as you can see now, this whole caliper will slide off of your rotor, which is right there. Now, to take off get your brake pads out, you'll have to remove this right here, this covering. On this bike, it takes like an Allen wrench to get it off, but different bikes will have different things. Some may have an Allen wrench, some may just have regular screw heads on it to take off. But remove these 2 right here, and once you do that, you'll basically be able then to remove your brake pads from out of here. So we took that off. Now that we're going to take this, we got that out. Now we're going to look on the other side, and you'll be able to see us to pull the brake pads out. Alright, so now we took those 2 screws out. Now if you can see right here, there's your brake pads. You can either pull them out from this side, or you can just drop them down throughout the opening like that. And what you'll have then is your brake pads right here. Make sure you kind of remember the way that your brake pads went in, so you can put them back in. If you can see what's going on is, you see those 2 holes. What's going on is this little piece right here is going in between the brake pads. Hold on, let me get it together so you can show how. Yeah, you see that piece? It's kind of in between the brake pads, and that screw that you took out on the top will just go straight through here, through that middle thing on the other side, and bolts in. If you see on your caliper, you'll see the screw came from here and it goes on to the other side over here. So pretty much when you got that done, now what you want to do is go ahead and get your new brake pads. You want to go ahead and put your brake pads back in, put them back in from the bottom, and then you want to take this piece right here and put it in between them. Make sure when you're taking this off also that you remember which way you pulled it off. So if you look at it, one side may have like a little opening in it. See on this one, see that little opening right there on it, where the screw goes to. The other side doesn't really have that. So kind of make sure that you pay attention which way that came out from. That way you'll know how to put it back on. And once you get your brake pads, you just want to basically put them up through the middle, from the bottom into it, like that. You kind of line them up with these holes on both sides. And then what you're going to be doing is taking your little metal piece, just like that. You want to put it just like that in between the 2 brake pads. And then you're going to be taking your screw, put your screw back in, screw it all the way back through to the other side. It may take you a minute sometimes to get that part in, but once you get it in, you just want to screw it back in, put the other screw back on the other side. Then once you got that done, you want to go ahead and put your caliper back onto your rotor the same way that you would onto your vehicle. Just put the caliper in between. Make sure your brake pads are going around the rotor. Also, you may have to, just like a vehicle, press back your caliper. So if your calipers came out some, you could take like a pair of pliers or something like that and use one of the old brake pads to press your caliper back in to make sure you'll have space for you to put your caliper back over top of your rotor. Alright folks, once again, this is how you would change out your brake pads on a motorcycle. On your front wheel, you'll have two you'll have to do, one on each side, because you have two rotors basically on your front wheel and two calipers on it. And on your back wheel, I'll show you the back wheel, it's basically the same process, except for back here, if you can see, you only have one caliper, which is right here, and you have one rotor, which is what this is with the hole in it right here. Because the other side is your actual chain over there. So alright folks, once again, this is how you would change out your front brakes on a motorcycle. It's probably the same for most years of motorcycles, because pretty much most motorcycles are all made the same. And alright folks, don't forget, it's very important before you start riding your motorcycle, just like a car, that you pump your brakes a few times just to make sure that your caliper was able to press the brake pads back out. So once again, before you ride your motorcycle, make sure that you pump your brakes. If you change your front brakes, make sure you squeeze your brake handle to pump your caliper back out. The same way if you were to do your back brakes, make sure that you pump your back brake handle a few times to make sure that your brakes are back out. I'm also going to put a video up showing you how to press your caliper back in, just in case you don't know how. Alright, please check out our other helpful videos. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.